Okay, so all we need here is one more note, and we have a complete whole tone scale starting on B flat. So we're going to work on some perfect pitch training again today. This time I'm going to start right ahead with the training. I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and try and visualize a C internally. I'm doing C because C is the easiest note for me to remember. Might be a different note for you. Yeah, I get the C every day. And it's, I sit here and I think about it, and so it may look like I'm actually searching for it at this point, but it kind of comes instantly. And then what I do is I try and hear it internally. I try and make sure it's the actual note that I'm trying to audiate, that it actually is a C. And then from there, I check it. So what I talked about yesterday, remember, we're going to audiate the note first, then we're going to listen and correct, and then we're going to audiate again. So it's kind of like audiate, correct, audiate. So I'm going to just go through this series again: B flat, C, D, E, and F sharp. You already got your C. Try and go ahead and audiate a B flat. If it was wrong, correct it. Now audiate again. Now the C. Now you audiate. Now audiate a D. Now audiate again. Now audiate an E. Now go ahead and audiate again. And an F sharp. Now audiate it again. Okay, so you get how this works? You audiate, correct, audiate. So we're going to do this. I'm going to skip around this time. I'm not going to play them in that order, but I'm going to start out playing them in the order so we get used to these sounds again. Audiate B flat. I'm going to stop talking. You just know what to do. So what you're going to do is you're going to audiate the note. We're going to start on B flat, and then I'm going to play it so you can correct, and then you're going to sing it, well, internally, and then go on to the next note in the series. Right now we're going stepwise up a whole tone scale. So B flat, C, D, E, F sharp. Okay? Start on B flat. Next note. Next note. Next note. And the next note. Start again in B flat. Okay, now I'm going to go all over the place. I'll say the note, give you just a second to audiate, and then you can check yourself, and then, of course, you correct yourself internally. D. And you have to do something like you go up the scale to get your D. That's perfectly fine. For now. Eventually you want to see if you can get away from that, but for now, you're using a little bit of relative pitch and pitch memory to remember these. Okay, what note was that? E, I forgot to tell you. All right, how about B flat? There's your B flat. How about D? B flat. D. C. D. Audiate a C. Hear it in your mind. Take that mental picture of the sound. B flat. Audiate it. Correct it. Listen for it in your mind. Recreate the sound. What note was that? D. Now what we're going to do is you're going to guess the pitch that I play. B flat. D. C. E. F sharp. So if you're doing this at home, what you might want to do is you'll go ahead and play the note and then you'll try and guess it. So you'll randomly maybe pick a note on the piano. And then you'll try and identify it. Maybe you'll say it's an E. Then you look down, okay, that time I got it right, so it's an E. If you got it wrong, maybe try and find the note that you thought it was. So if you said D, then play the D and compare it to the E. You hear a difference? Not just that one's higher than the other. There's another difference. Let's just listen for now. You hear the difference? A tritone really makes it stand out, but there's something more than the interval. There's something about the notes. Now I'm going to do something. I'm going to play a sequence of notes. I'm going to use all the notes B flat, C, D, E, F sharp. At first I'm going to tell you the notes I'm playing and then I'll play it. F sharp, D, E, B flat, C, F sharp, D, E, B flat, and C. All right, so the sequence is F sharp, D, E, B flat, C. So try and mentally think, okay, F sharp, D, E, B flat, C. F sharp, trying to memorize this pattern. The note names, E, B flat, C. If you memorize the pitches, great, but we're trying to memorize the note names because I'm going to stop giving them to you, and I want you to mentally imagine like the letter name or the note on a staff system. So F sharp, what's the next note? D. Next note, E. What's the next note? B flat. And the next note, C. Try it again. First note was F sharp. Next note, D. Next note, E. Next note, B flat. Next note, C. All right, is everybody got this now? Hopefully, you can type something in the chat if you want. Let me know if you're getting the order right. Let's do it one more time just to make sure. What are the notes? Just go ahead and say them. F sharp, D, E, B flat, C. Again. F sharp, D, E, B flat, C. Again, just saying the notes, not hearing them. F sharp, D, E, B flat, C. So it's important you have that sequence memorized so that you know what notes I'm playing. And you're going to always hear this leap here when I go back to the F sharp. Okay, now what we're going to do is I want you to try and mentally, without using the note names, just mentally hear this sequence. Go ahead and listen to it. Again. See if you can play that back in your mind. Let's try it again. Just at that tempo, hear it in your mind. Again. Listen in your mind. One more time. Make sure we got it. Okay. Do you remember the note name sequence? Go ahead and say it. F sharp, D, C, B flat. Oh, sorry. F sharp, D, E, B flat, C. I think I might have said C early. All right. So now we're going to combine that two little bits of knowledge, the note names and the pattern, and I'm going to play it. And as I play this, I want you to try and just imagine the notes on a staff system if you can. If you don't know how to read music, then don't worry about it. Then just think of the notes like C, F sharp, C, D, C and E, the letter name, C a B flat, then C a C. But if you can kind of view them on a treble clef staff, that'd be great. So the F sharp is on the first space, the C, we'll go to a D next. F sharp is on the first space, the D is right below the staff, then the E is on the first line, and then we have a B flat below the staff. There's a ledger line, it's hanging right below that ledger line, and then C is right on the ledger line below the staff. So either try and hear this on the staff system, visualize the notes, or visualize the note names. Here we go. Let's say the note names one more time and visualize them when you say them. What's the first one? F sharp, that first space on the staff system. The next one, D, right below the staff. Next one, E, the first line. Next one, B flat, ledger line below the staff. It's a note right below. Last one, C, right on the ledger line. Here we go. Picture them as I play them. Again. Now what's going to be really cool, we're going to do this for a little bit and then we're going to do something different, and you should be able to hear something, anything. You should be able to hear something. So let's go through this. You kind of know how it works now. F sharp, D, E, B flat, C, visualize on the staff system. Ready, go. 2 beats per note. Ready, go. Close your eyes and focus on the notes. Just kind of relaxed. A relaxed focus. Okay, now keep going. Hear that sequence in your mind. Use different rhythms, different tempos. Just play around with it in your mind for a while. I'm going to give you about a minute to do this. Okay, hear it again. F sharp, D, E, B flat, C. That's the order. I'm going to play it one more time. All right, now we're just going to listen to individual pairs of notes. What note is that? B flat. C. Even if it's very obvious, say the note name out loud. I'm going to play it first, then I'll tell you the note. B flat. C. Now listen for a difference. Now, what notes are these? C and D. Now listen for a difference. Now listen for D and the next note. What are the notes I'm playing? D and E. All right, listen for a difference now. I'm gonna do something pretty cool here in a minute. Okay, next two notes. What are they? E and F sharp. Listen for a difference. Okay, now what I want you to do is I'm going to play a note repeatedly. You're probably going to know what the note is. I'm not going to tell you what it is. But what I want you to do is put as much effort into trying to listen to the note. I mean, like almost like you're lifting weights or lifting a heavy object. You're just like, you're really trying to get in there and hear the note. Focus as much as you can. Use everything at your disposal. Concentrate on this. Did you hear the change? Did you hear the change in, I'm not going to say timbre, but something like that, a change in sound? Can you hear it? Now can you hear a difference between these two notes? How would you describe the first note, which is an F sharp, by the way? Compared to the D, how would you describe it? Most people would describe the F sharp as being somewhat harsh, somewhat aggravated. The D as somewhat softer. Do you hear that difference? What if we do F sharp and C? Okay, now we're gonna do something in a minute here. Here's the F sharp and the C. Sharp, ragged, C. Different, very different. Almost soft. And so people are going to say, okay, well, it's soft because it's a tritone. Well, if that's the case, then why does the C sound soft and the F sharp sound harsh? Why doesn't the C sound harsh and the F sharp sound soft? Why are we hearing it the other way around? Most people, and you can kind of verify this for this yourself if you can hear this, most people are going to hear the F sharp as somewhat harsher than the C. Okay, well, we just did this other thing where I played F sharp and D. Listen to those two again. The F sharp is still harsher than the D. Okay, so if the tritone's the issue, the augmented fourth here, then you could say the same thing for D and G sharp. But the D still sounds soft whether I play the G sharp and the D, another tritone, or the F sharp and the D. So now the question is, and I'm going to introduce this because we're going to get into the G sharp soon. What's the difference between G sharp and F sharp? Listen to the two. In some ways, the G sharp almost sounds more animated than the F sharp. The F sharp sounds somehow softer. So if you're hearing these colors, most of us kind of hear them in a similar way. We hear the F sharp as being harsh. We hear the C as kind of sunken in, soft, clear. We hear the D, slightly different texture. We hear the E as bright. We hear the B flat, almost like it's in a puddle of water. It's like just a narrow puddle, not very deep. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to work on trying to hear the colors as we change the octave. So I'm going to play a bunch of notes and just try and identify the note that you think you're hearing. I'll tell you after a second or two. B flat. B flat. B flat. E. 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 So why am I doing the different octaves here? When I was in college, I knew a kid that actually developed really great perfect pitch, and he did not have perfect pitch before this. He did this in about 6 months, and he was quick. You know, you could play 3-4 notes, you could ask him to sing a note, and he'd always be right. But I know he didn't have that ability before because I knew him, you know, previous year in college, and he definitely didn't have perfect pitch, but he developed it. He developed a very quick recall of notes. And so I asked him what he did. He said, well, all I really did was I just listened to the different pitches of different octaves. So he played a C down here. He listened to it. Then he compared it to the C an octave higher. And then just randomly played C's everywhere. And he did this consistently every day. And that's really all he did, according to him. He may have left some secrets out, I don't know. But this is a technique he said he used. And he just kind of sat there. He got in kind of a calm mental space. And he just heard the notes. compared them. And once he could hear a similarity between one note at different pitch levels, they're the same but different, right? There's something about C there. Once he could hear that, he moved on to the next note. Now that D in relation, I don't want to describe it. I don't think you should describe it either, but sometimes it's helpful to describe these things so you can initially hear what I'm talking about. So how would we describe the D now that I said don't describe it? Well, it's hard to describe it, but if you compare it to C, now you have a little bit of a comparison. C is almost like glass, it's clear. D, maybe that glass is a little bit dirty. And so then he would go and do two notes, different octaves. Then maybe switch to another note entirely. Let's do E. And what you might notice as you're doing this is you'll hear the colors for like a brief moment. When it first starts, you might hear it for like 30 seconds and then you don't hear it again and you wonder if you ever heard it at all. Well, you did hear it because like I have a lot of information to go off here because I would do this in my classes when I was teaching at university, and I would have students by a show of hands say, yes, I can hear a difference, or no, I can't. And the more we did stuff like this, I'd only spend like 5 minutes a day on it, but the more we did stuff like this, the more the hands would start to raise. The more they'd start to say, yeah, I hear a difference. And then some students would start to actually hear the notes. And the note that tended to come out for most of them was a C. And again, that's because the daily routines that I would practice every day to practice these fundamentals were on C. The mirror exercise always started on C. We emphasized C so much that I think it just became the first note they clearly heard. Like for the daily routine, it starts out like this. You'll get a metronome marking. And then I'd have them sing it. Re, mi, re, do. And then we do this every day. The warm-ups gradually added new notes as you go daily routine 1 through 7. And it's like a comparison exercise every single morning. So you start to hear the differences. So one thing that you can do today, once we're done here, which I'm going to finish up pretty quickly here, is you can just go to your piano and just compare notes of the same name, E. Start with that. Maybe even make a recording of yourself doing it. Then once you can feel like you're hearing something, compare it to another note, maybe F sharp. Do you hear that? I hear it. I won't hear it when I get away from the piano today, but I hear it right now. And I keep hearing it the same way. And so how do I know I keep hearing it the same way? Because when I first started doing this, I didn't know what the notes sounded like, you know? But over time, I have started to hear the same thing each time I play these notes. But will I recognize it away from the piano? That's different. So there are various levels, I think, of perfect pitch, and this isn't perfect pitch. I call this more like tone awareness. The first stage is that when you compare two notes side by side, you hear a difference because you're focusing on them, it's slow, you're clearly hearing a difference here. I think the next stage is when you are not physically playing the piano. If somebody just goes and plays two notes and you don't know what they're playing, you'll just hear a difference between the sounds, but you won't necessarily know what the notes are. Maybe another stage would be where you actually play the F sharp. Somebody plays a note for you, you don't know what it is, and then you're able to identify it. And so there's all these various steps and stages, I think, that can occur, but it also might depend on the way you're trying to learn perfect pitch. So for the next minute here, and then we're going to end for today, I'm going to play B flat, C, D, E, or F sharp. We're going to play them in different octaves, and we're just going to do a little exercise on this. This is D. E. F sharp. They all start sounding the same, but at one point they didn't sound the same. That's your ear getting tired. Let's do B flat. And B flat really sticks out to me. Kind of told you this yesterday, but I play a B flat instrument, so it's the fundamental of the instrument. And let's do C. It's that glass sound. So day 25, what can I tell you? I can tell you that I'm hearing a difference between these notes as I play them on the keyboard. Do I have perfect pitch? Absolutely not. Do I have anything close to it? No, I wouldn't say that. But is it increasing my ability to hear the differences between these notes? Yes. And the students that are in my composing hour course, we're kind of doing more advanced versions of these drills because it's very well worked out. It's programmatic in a way, and they're starting to hear. Just today, I had one of the students tell me they're hearing B flat, C, and E flat, and they're always within like a quarter of a cent, or just very close to the pitch, just slightly flat, or I guess sharp. I'm not sure which way they're actually hearing it, but they're hearing the notes and they're coming out very clearly. And so we're going very slow. I did a 30-day training session here where I tried to see how fast and how far I could go in 30 days. Like I at first was just going to move on to the next note when I could hear a difference, but I was hearing the differences pretty quickly, and so I pushed further. I pushed faster even. But in the composing hour course, we're going very slow. Like we'll start with the first pitch and we'll work on that for a couple weeks, and then we'll add a new pitch, and then we'll start comparing them. It goes slowly, and so I think that's really helping these students to hear these pitches, and it's more than one. It's not a whole lot of people taking it, but those that are hearing things. And one person actually went to the hospital. Not he's okay, but went to the hospital and could actually identify the note that the machines are making. So little things like that you might start to notice. But we're going to continue this tomorrow. I'm probably going to be on about 12:30 tomorrow, just in case you want to plan for this. And going forward, I haven't decided how often I'm going to do this, but I'm going to keep doing these live streams. They're going to be at 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. That seems to be a good time for me as I've been doing this. Works out well. So if you want to come tomorrow, bring questions, or just pay attention, just enjoy the little exercises, you can do that too. So I will see you tomorrow, and we only have a few more days of this, but I've decided I'm going to go ahead and continue these live streams, if not every day, at least a couple times a week. So we'll see how that goes. And we'll have different topics. It won't always be perfect pitch. All right. Thank you for showing up again today, and I will see you tomorrow. Let me know how you're doing.